You're welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform, and here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first. My guest, Sammy Gyamfi, Acting Chief Executive Officer, Gold Board, and National Communications Officer of the NDC, Andrew Ejapa-Mensah, former MP for 2nd D and former Minister in two different portfolios. Dr. Theo Echampong is political risk analyst and economist. This will be my guest. As we begin the conversations, we'll be joined by Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, Chairman, Constitutional Review Committee, Dr. A.C. Ansah, Member of the Constitution Review Committee, Dr. Reina Akumpergia, Secretary, the Constitution Review Committee. They will also join us. But let's begin briefly talking about NPP and its, Thank You Tour. What exactly is going on? It was supposed to be an opportunity, meet with the people and unite and begin to galvanize and get ready for 2028. So to speak. Why is it turned bloody?
Let me say good morning to you and to our cherished viewers and listeners. Indeed, like you rightly stated, the whole purpose of the Thank You Tour was intended to, as it were, appreciate the work that the party base did in the run-up to the general elections, and to, if you like, boost some morale. It's unfortunate that some issues cropped up because essentially I started the tour with Dr. Bawumia in the Western region.
Okay.
It was pretty peaceful. Mm-hmm. People had come in, to listen to the General Secretary and the Chairman speak, and of course Dr. Bawumia to address them. Mm. It started on a good note, if you ask me. And indeed, something... the motive behind Dr. Bawumia inviting the other contestants, if you like, who contested him during the primaries was an altruistic one. That look, yes, I was a leader of the party into the election, but because we want to send a message of unity across our support base, why don't you guys join me so that we all embark on this tour together? Mm. It turned out that along the line, it became some popularity contest, with people getting supporters, sharing T-shirts and all that to come and cheer one person or the other on.
So as you went round, you get to a stop, and then supporters of particular, candidates in the run-up to the flag bearership,
yes,
will show up,
yes,
and try to now,
that's right,
sing the praises of their candidate.
Their candidate.
Okay.
That's what degenerated and culminated in the issue at Bantama, which in itself took place after the end of the program. Dr. Bawumia and his team had already left.
That's right.
We're told that some students who had been brought in by Kennedy Japan's camp were given some money, and the course of the sharing of the money, this unfortunate incident happened.
So that indication is that these people were mobilized by the particular candidates to be there.
Yes.
And so they had to be sort of paid, at least for their TNT. That's why they were...
Certainly. And
then it means the party didn't do well, because this was your tour and you were organizing it. So why do you allow this?
You're right. You're right that to the extent that it was Dr. Bawumia's tour, Thank You Tour, because in the past, President Kufuor went around without Nanado or Professor Dubois. Nanado himself did not go around to thank the people with Alan Chairman.
Yeah, I understand that's the tradition. So what changed?
Like I said, also in the spirit of why don't we all go together as a united front to go and thank Ghanaians, our party base, for the work that they did in the run-up to the election. It just so happened that people felt the need to take advantage of the situation because you're meeting potential.
You're saying this was Dr. Bawumia's decision?
To invite the other, yes, certainly. He extended the invitation to the other aspirants in the 2024 election to join him to do the thank you tour. It just so happened that
if the tradition is that you do it alone as the flag bearer, why this time do you bring all the other candidates? And I'm looking at the letter here and the distribution list. It went to Dr. Awusu Friye, Kennedy Ejapong, Boache Chermantinge Jakon, Dr. Kofi Konedwa Praku, Joe Gate, Francis Adainimo, Kwabena Eje Ejapong, and Kwejo Poku. 8 of them.
It will be obvious to anybody that seeing all these people, leaders of our party, on one platform, okay, addressing our party folk, would have sent a clear message that our party, yes, we've lost the 2024 general elections, but we are all united, a common purpose to rebuild.
So this was a miscalculation. How could you not have foreseen this?
You could tell me a miscalculation, but I believe that the intent behind it was right, except that nobody expected the popularity contest to rear its head. Thankfully, Mr. Kennedy Japan decided to abort the continuation, and peace has prevailed, and the thank you tour is proceeding, without any hitches.
So now is it with only Dr. Bawumia, yes, or the other Dr. candidates?
Bawumia and any other candidate, but I know that Kojo Sapwapoku has joined. The rest did not join. I don't know whether he is left as well, but I know that since
the chairman left, and that's giving some bad signal.
But the reason for chairman's taking a break has been explained. I'm not so sure that he will not join the team again. I left, of course, I'm not a key player in the team, but I intend to join them when they go up north, time permitting, so that I can go and provide some support. I expect that the chairman will join, as the statement that was issued by the communications director.
So where are they now? They're supposed to make how many? 15 different stops. You had Western region, Western North, Ahafo, Bono region, Ashanti, Bono East, Savannah, Upper East, Upper West, Northeast, Northern region, Oti, Volta, Eastern, and Greater Accra. And this was to have commenced from the 26th of April through to the 10th, through to the 12th of May, 2025. And this letter was distributed to the candidates, inviting them to join Dr. Bawumia it was sent out to them April 20, 2025.
So they finished Ashanti region on Thursday and headed for Bono East on Friday. Today they'll be continuing to Savannah. Sunday would be in Upper West. Monday, Upper East.
Right.
Tuesday, Northeast, until they conclude Greater Accra from May 10 to 12, and then subsequently Central Region on the 4th.
And Dr. Bawumia is taking some backlash as well, that he's beginning to distance himself from the Akufo-Addo regime.
I don't think so at all. I don't know who and why they are reading that into the statement that Dr. Bawumia is making. He's stated categorically that history will be very kind to His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo for the work that he did for Mother Ghana. So really, everything that he said, he referenced the collective, that we did not listen. I do not see how we did not listen would mean that he is throwing His Excellency the President under the bus. Not at all. He has accepted responsibility as a government for the wrongs. Indeed, and in fact, these statements that he's making are the result of what people said during the Michael Kwe process, confirming that we did not go out to vote because we did not like e-levy. Domestic debt exchange was a problem for us. And these are the sentiments that he's re-echoing. These are what our people have said Probably if we had listened to them, at the time that they were objecting to some of the policies that were rolling out, we probably would have.
Well, it's obviously saying things that he wouldn't have said in the campaign. But to end with you quickly, this was intended to unite, bring all of you together for the work ahead. Will it achieve that?
I think so. Thank you tours are thank you tours. Okay, there was a dual objective of projecting a united front for the party base going forward. That has not been fully achieved. But the party is solidly behind our leadership, and we expect that this will pass. Whatever engagements that have to be made to ensure that the scaffold that took place does not rear its head.
All right. So let me get very brief comments from my other guest, and then we get to the next subject, the main subject for discussion. Yes, Sammy.
Well, Samson, a very good morning to you.
Right.
My good brother Japan Mesa and our cherished viewers. What the NPP is currently doing is not a thank you tour. What is happening is just a desperate attempt by Alhaji Bawumia to revive his political career after leading the New Patriotic Party to its most embarrassing political defeat. That is what is happening. And once again, you're having the entire NPP machinery rallying behind him to give him an unfair advantage over persons who desire or intend to contest him in the upcoming presidential primaries.
They do a thank you tour after every election.
But listen to what the programs they are holding across the country. Who are they meeting? They are meeting their party executives. They are not meeting Kenyans. And what are they telling them? Do you hear any thank you messages? No. We hear Bawumia playing Pontius Pilate, blaming everybody for the embarrassing defeat except himself, attempting to distance himself from the very government that he served as vice president of for 8 years and head of economic management team. Everyone is guilty except Bawumia. That is what is happening there. So for me, what is happening is a charade of a thank you tour. It is just a desperate attempt by Bawumia to revive his political career at all cost. And he's succeeded to marshal the entire party machinery behind him. And that is why Kennedy Japan decided to tag along, gate crash what they had planned to do, and also assert himself as a potential leader of the party. But in all this...
Is he blaming everybody except himself?
Yes.
One of the headlines I read said, "We admit our mistakes. We will fix them." He tells the people, my Joy Online reported, "You have spoken well, and we have heard you. We'll do something about it." He says, "Posterity will vindicate Akufo-Addo's, good leadership, among others, good works, among other comments. President Kufuor and the NPP were vilified after 8 years of rule. But today, President Akufo-Addo is a celebrated former president. I am certain that with time, posterity will vindicate NPP and President Akufo-Addo." This is him talking on the...
Bawumia has adduced reasons for the embarrassing defeat that the NPP suffered, which reasons, according to him, is backed by empirical data. And all those reasons border on the omissions or commissions of persons other than himself. He says that, number one, they lost because of high cost of living, occasioned by economic mismanagement, DDP, fuel price increases that he himself was not even aware.
Except he didn't add economic mismanagement.
Oh, but if he's talking about they losing because of high cost of living, what could have led to that? Prudent economic management doesn't lead to unbearable cost of living. So that goes without saying. Then Samson, he says that they lost because of arrogance of power.
That's right.
And when he was giving examples of arrogance of power, he left himself out. He didn't blame himself for dancing off beat to Owosisifianibi when Ghanaians were complaining that times
he kept using we. That includes him.
You see, look at the details of the reasons he gave. He can say we, but in the long run, you see him clearly blaming others but himself. Okay? Now he says that they lost power because of arrogance of power. And that is what we were telling them all along. You had cause to advise them. I recall several takes of yours on this very platform where you had cause to caution them. They will not just listen. Now, 4 months in opposition, Bawumia has repented. He now knows that they lost because of arrogance of power.
Yeah, he says, these are his words. Forgive us our lapses. We will do better next time.
Oh, okay.
That's being remorseful.
Remorseful.
That's being collective responsibility.
I see. And even in doing that, he's making more commentaries that are more arrogant than some of the commentaries that send them into opposition.
Like what?
Today he says that the economy is doing well because of what they did in power. So in 8 years, the economy didn't do well. The economy was in a mess. We all know the state of the economy at the time they were living on.
You said for today, the economy, the period that the economy was stable and doing well was because of the IMF that you signed on to.
Yes,
so they are playing the same thing back to you.
No, supported by empirical evidence. The evidence in 2016 was to the effect that because 2 additional oil streams had been brought on stream by President Mahama, the oil and gas sector was going to grow by 84%, and as a result of that, we're going to achieve a growth rate of almost 8%, and that was predicted in 2016 by the EIU. In their case, they missed all the IMF program milestones. They missed it. And the IMF itself conceded that fact. They have publicly stated that fact. So you cannot equate the two. But you see, what is playing out is testament to the fact that the NPP has not learned any lessons and are not ready for power. And I have no doubt in my mind that they are going to remain in opposition for a very, very long time.
You know, they used to say what you just said.
Oh, yes. But when they were saying that, they were not acting accordingly. And that is why they suffered the most embarrassing political...
They championed one of the most transformational, economic policies, education.
Oh, please.
Okay, and still they lost.
The verdict is out there. The people of this country who were supposed to be the beneficiaries of that so-called policy passed a verdict of no confidence in them. They lost overwhelmingly, resoundingly. Look, the reason why I say that they are not ready for power, and I will end here, I don't intend to drag this matter at all, is that even in opposition, these guys are fighting over 1,000 Ghana cedis and stabbing themselves in the process. My goodness. A party that left power barely 4 months ago. A party that, candidates who were vying for their presidential candidature were distributing money like granite to them when they went for their primaries sometime in 2023, 2024. We saw money flowing, fridges flowing, television sets. Today you are fighting over 1,000 Ghana cedis. And they are so inhumane, so wicked to stab themselves. Now, so if you are a young Ghanaian watching me, ask yourself that even NPP young men in the university, they are stabbing them with knives, butchering themselves. Then you, what hope do you have? What protection, safeguards can you have in this political party? So clearly these guys are not ready for power. And the NPP today are showing, they are exhibiting all the trappings of a party in the state of comatose. The center cannot hold. There is no elder. They have no respect for anybody. Abronya and Kennedy Japan are all over the place. Sorting themselves and all that. That is not what Ghanaians need. Ghanaians need a government who will come put the right policies in place for us to see the cedi gaining stability like we are seeing now. Fuel prices coming down like we are seeing now. The dollar rate coming down like we are seeing now. That is what Ghanaians voted for, and that is what they are getting. And so as for them, they can continue stabbing themselves.
Okay.
Sure that.
All right.
You are not that.
Dr. Thierry Champong, thanks for joining us. Let me be sure if I have your feed very clean.
To the main topic.
Yes, good morning. I can hear you.
Great. It's great. It's been a while. And on this campaign, matters of religion and so on have come on. And I have stumbled on, some of the analysis that have been done. There were as many as 210 236 Christian candidates that were presented nationwide by the NPP. That was like 85.5% of NPP parliamentary candidates. Out of that 236 Christians, 81, that's 33.9% success rate. Out of the 236 Christians who contested on the ticket of the NPP, 156 lost, representing 66.1%. This clearly tells you that the issue of Bawumia not being Christian and that affected them, and so he's not a candidate to be considered, appears to be made up and is not backed by the evidence. If you look at the Muslim, community, they presented out of 219 parliamentary candidates who were Muslim in the 11 southern regions, 206 were Christians and 13 were Muslims. Out of the total that I'm talking about, 206 were Christians and 13 were Muslims. 40 Muslims contested. That's representing 14.5%. Out of the 40 Muslims that contested on the ticket of the NPP, 9 won, representing 22.5% success rate. What do you say? The NPP, those who are against Bawumia are seeking to use, religion to push him out. The evidence doesn't support it completely.
No, yeah, you're very right. I mean, look, the evidence on the religious argument is just complete hogwash. It is, you can slice and dice the data how you want, but you come to a very firm and simple conclusion. The NPP lost the 2024 election not because of religion, but because of the economy. It is as simple as that, right? The issues that you, myself, and several others on this platform have been talking about, from domestic debt exchange to e-levy, and at one point on Newsfile back in 2022, I was among the first people to actually call for the sacking of Oporiata, the finance minister, because position had become, untenable. It is those issues that sent the elephant back into the bush again, and really not to do with the fact that Bawumia, was Muslim and he lost votes in the other Christian regions or even districts. In fact, if you look at the data very carefully and you analyze it by region and by constituency, across the board, NPP consistently dropped or lost votes in all regions. Yeah. And NDC actually did gain some votes in most of the regions, right? And so it cannot be that it is because they put a candidate that was, had a different religious tag than those in the other parts of the country. I can tell you that if they had listened and actually run the economy much better than many people had expected them to do, especially after COVID, when the warning signs, were all beginning to show, they would have still, quote unquote, broken the 8. But like Bawumia himself said, it was part to do with the cost of living crisis and part to do with the arrogance of power, to borrow the same words, right?
And on the religious card, even in the front of the NDC, they presented 215 Christians. Out of that number, 74 lost.
Yes, and even what will be interesting is when you look at where these candidates came from. So you have to look at the district and look at the makeup of those districts. What are the key or core ethnic groupings and subgroupings within those districts to actually do a proper statistical, analysis related to that. But I can tell you, when people are hungry, when people are having to, face with cost of living pressures and inflation over 54%, It is not a question of whether one is Muslim or Christian. That does not put food on the table, and that does not take care of their needs. And the reason why the NPP lost the election is very clear. They lost because they mismanaged the economy. It's as simple as that.
Right.
And they may make arguments to the effect that, well, that is not true, blah, blah, blah. But the warning signs had been there all throughout, that they had to take or make course correction. Other than that, Ghanaians were going to punish them, quite seriously. And you can again see it, even in Bawumia's Thank You Tour, right? So yes, Meta says, and I agree, these tours are not new. We've had them in the past. The candidate did not take the other ones along, and they are trying to convey a message of unity this time around. But what we are seeing on the tour also shows that, look, there is still pain and there's still anger, right, amongst the hierarchy and amongst the grassroots, going back to the fact that we're not happy with the way you manage the state of affairs. And this has, fundamentally affected the fortunes of the party, going forward. And so suddenly you're even seeing other new aspirants. I think this week we saw a post from Educhum, right? Subsequently was deleted, more or less intimating that maybe, he may be, putting his hat in the race, and subsequently other people as well.
Tell me about this. Does it not look like a very credible candidate to you, that if he put himself in it, he could make a good, a good showing?
I think he has what it takes. I'm sure there are other people too that have what it takes. I am sure Bawumia himself would want to go again. It is not for me to judge. It's for the people that belong to the party to make that decision.
All right.
But the point I'm trying to make is that the fact that other people are even intimating of putting in, a bid or a run, and the fact that these issues are happening on the tour shows me that there's still a lot of anger and there's still a lot of pain, and they want to change things. But the way you want to change things is not because of religion. You've got to fundamentally address the issues that sent you to opposition, which Michael Kwe and several of us, had indicated way earlier. So for me, look, they have to own up.
Okay.
They have to apologize to Ghanaians, not just to their party people. And they have to address
traditionally, it is the flag bearer that does the Thank You Tour. What do you think went into the thinking of Dr. Bawumia to say that let's invite all other 8, flag bearer candidates to join the tour? And it obviously has not helped. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, I think strategically, the thinking would have been, okay, let's bring all the people along, carry them along, show a sign of unity or sort of a coherent front. But the fact that it's also coming in just 4 months after a major election loss. I mean, let's put things in context. This is the most significant loss that the party had suffered going all the way back to 1992 and 96, right? So there's a lot of, call it open wounds, a lot of sore thumbs around that would have to be addressed. So I see where the Dr. Bawumia wanted, or what he wanted to do in relation to sort of showing that there's a sense of unity among the rank and file of the party. But I think what we have also subsequently seen really is reflective of the fact that some people and several people are not happy. And those things would have to be addressed before you even go on any Thank You Tour for that matter.
Okay. Thank you very much. The letter that went out to these candidates, among others, said that guided by the theme, in all things, give thanks to God. That's in 1 Thessalonians 5:18. The tour will culminate in interfaith national Thanksgiving services, bringing together Christian and Islamic communities in solemn reflection and gratitude. Then it said, we look forward to your gracious presence as we continue to strengthen the bonds of unity and reaffirm our dedication to the ideals of the new patriotic party. And the invitation was very clear that if it was a special invitation to them, that if they joined, it will help to give, the nation an idea that they were together. Well, just so a minute comment before we move on. I haven't heard around the table. What do you say? And I'm sure you are looking at me with some surprise because the very precious report under lock and key, I may have been making references to it.
Oh, not at all. Because our General Secretary has furnished all of us with some highlights. And I associate with the comments that were made by your champion. I mean, that's exactly what Dr. Bawumia and the General Secretary have been re-echoing throughout the engagements that they're having with our party base. But of course, you can trust Sammy Gyamfi to, as always, do propaganda with these matters. So if Mr. Mahama, who lost by more than 1 million votes in 2016, could rebrand and relaunch himself, he's sitting here telling us others cannot rebrand and relaunch themselves.
That was not as bad. That was not as bad.
1 million at the time was the baddest ever. Okay, so I mean, so all these things you just have to.
Okay. All right.
Thank them with the contempt that they deserve. Bawumia is not acting Pontius Pilate. He's admitted the collective mistakes that the government made. He was a key member of the government. So was I. Okay, and indeed, if you listen to him quite closely, there's no way that anybody can conclude that he's running anybody under the bus and claiming to be not responsible for the actions.
Okay.
Outcome of the election.
Thank you very much. We take a quick break. We'll return to ask the question whether President Mahama will grant the demands of the NPP. They are going on a demonstration, and the demonstration is that save the judiciary. They say that they are against the revocation, they are against the suspension of the Chief Justice. That suspension should be revoked immediately, just like the GBA also have, some say, somersaulted after issuing a statement saying everything appears to have been on course and, without any constitutional breaches and so on. They went for a media conference. People are asking questions, just a handful of the thousands of GBA members. But, well, it's not their fault that you didn't show up. We didn't show up. It's not our fault. And if we showed up, you didn't know how we would have voted. So some 47 or so members voted for a resolution calling on the president to immediately revoke the suspension. Will the president grant the NPP and the NDC their demands? We're right back.